All right, let's do it live on a trade deadline. G-Man. He had to bust out. He's adjusting cameras?
Young Gabriel.
We're doing it live, kids. It's a trade deadline Tuesday. Merely Bo, Great Z, how you living?
Let's go.
We got an hour.
Two.
We got an hour here. Right now we've done
hours.
one deal. Well, I'm just mean for the trade deadline.
Wow.
Yeah, the show continues to be two. But we have an hour till the trade deadline is up. We did trade Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and a 7th-round pick to the Bears in exchange for a 6th. To this point, that is all that has happened. Reporting over the weekend that we were going to be buyers more than we would be sellers.
This makes no sense.
No,
the Dallas Cowboys are doing it. They're doing all kinds of buying.
They are. I think the buying would make sense in the way that we talked about it yesterday. If there is an asset that somebody does not want to compensate that has a high ceiling, our ownership has always shown an ability and a willingness to take on that asset, to compensate that asset as a means of increasing and making the football team better. It doesn't feel like any of those type of deals are available. What is available today is blockbuster season, and the New York Jets are at the center of it. And by the way, we play them this weekend. So you have that to look forward to, which is nice. And if you're looking for wins, then they will come easier because they just lost 2 of their best defensive players in the last hour. Sauce Gardner traded from New York to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for 2 first-round picks and Adonai Mitchell. But it's the 2 ones that are going to be the big one. And then Quinnen Williams, their Pro Bowl defensive tackle, who's having a monster year, traded to Dallas in exchange for Mazi Smith, a first-round pick and a second-round pick next year. But it's the draft pick accumulation that you have to watch for on the Jets side of things. So the Jets now will have, I believe, 5 ones in the next 2 drafts.
Yeah, I like what the Jets did. Now you're going to Breece Hall's requesting a trade. I would imagine Garrett Wilson might request a trade. So then you lose all of your young core. That's not ideal. But when you think about they got 2 ones next year, 3 ones in 27, which is the draft that's going to have Julian Sain, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, Arch Manning.
Yeah, all those cats.
Right.
It's going to be loaded. 27's a massive.
Feels like it should be a big year, and they are the best position team in the NFL to take advantage of that. They have a plan. They've got a plan, and their plan clearly is we're going to be rough the rest of this year. We are going to be rough next year, and then we're going to go ahead and load up with young players and hopefully get it back. Now, the idea that they got rid of so many young players is a little bit wild. We'll see if there's more to come, but they at least they have a plan. And I saw a tweet right here that I wanted to say from Daniel Jeremiah.
Okay.
That I thought was interesting, and then through the lens of us, I think is also interesting. This is what Daniel Jeremiah said. Jets realized loaded defensive talent without quarterback doesn't win a whole lot. Now let's see if they can transform the offense and go on, and if they can go and they can get a quarterback and get a receiver. So let's see if they can transform the offense and find a quarterback. That's the thing, and I think that's kind of where we've been at, and I think it's why, at the combine and everything, all we could talk about was weapons.
Yeah.
Now that's not how it played out. We did add some weapons, our leading receiver, our leading rusher. Right now our passing touchdowns leader, all rookies, all in that draft class. Our wide receiving room still, is in a bit of rough shape, but that's what it is, right? Like that's what you want to be, and now I think the Jets have positioned themselves to, in 2 years' time, which is a long time from now, but in 2 years' time to have Garrett Wilson, Jeremiah Smith, and that's going to make any quarterback look a lot better.
Yeah, you have to hit on the picks is minimum requirement. This is what happens when you don't draft well or you don't if you don't draft well and you do not hit on the quarterback or you do not properly develop the quarterback. And the properly developed part of it is the one that really hits home for them because they had Sam Darnold. They had him. They drafted him. He should be the quarterback of that team. What is he, 27 years old? Sam Darnold. He might even be younger than that, 27, 28, something. I don't know. He's in there. He's in Bake's draft, but he's younger than Bake. I think he was the youngest quarterback in that draft, if memory serves. I wasn't doing the show at that time, so I don't remember all the quarterback ages, but I know he's younger than Bake. Darnold is
from a
age
yes,
wise.
He is.
Yeah, I think he's maybe 2 years younger than Bake.
Yep.
Because I know he's really young. He may have been only like 20, 21 when he was drafted. Either way, they had him. And they could have had him and all these guys. And how does that look in Seattle? So they grew impatient with him, and they drafted another quarterback at 2, Zach Wilson, just a couple of years later. And they drafted him at 2. And then you said, okay, well, now they had a draft that netted them Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson in one draft. I mean, that can't be this, but that's where they are. And so there is a pound of flesh that you are taking from your fan base with this type of day.
100%.
And you lived through it with 1-31. I wasn't here at that point, but it's tough sledding. It's easy for people who talk about it. It's easy for people on social to say, well, get rid of everybody and start over. Dude, there is no guarantee that starting over nets you the things that you want. And even if it does in the case of the Jets, they weren't smart enough to develop him, nurture him, and put him in a position to succeed.
Now, here are their first-round picks going back to 2017. Jamal Adams, who was a darn good player for them for quite some time.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold in 2018. Quinnen Williams in 2019, who just got traded. Darnold is now lighting it up for Seattle. Mekhi Becton, who actually has gone on to be a pretty darn good guard and was a guard on the Eagles Super Bowl team a year ago. Zach Wilson and Elijah Vera Tucker. Vera Tucker's been a solid player. Zach Wilson, obviously, that has not necessarily worked out. Quinnen Williams, by the way, 1 first-team All-Pro, 3 Pro Bowls.
Pro Bowls, yeah.
Sam Darnold's got a Pro Bowl. Jamal Adams, 1 All-Pro, 3 Pro Bowls. Then you get Sauce Gardner, 2 first-team All-Pros, 2 Pro Bowls. Garrett Wilson, and then Jermaine Johnson was also drafted in that draft, and he was also a Pro Bowler one time. He's got 11 career sacks. Then it was Will McDonald, who's got 16.5 sacks, who's played pretty well for them. Last year, Fashanu, an offensive tackle from Penn State. And then this year, Membao, I don't know if I'm saying it right, from Missouri, who was their first rounder. So, it's not even that they've even drafted poorly.
No. It's QB.
It's just QB. And, it was Garrett Wilson, and, they brought in Devontae Adams when Rodgers was there, but then Rodgers got hurt. That quite just didn't work out. But it is amazing. They've got a chance, obviously, and that's what it is. At least you're saying we've got a chance.
You're selling hope.
Some type of hope. And, I would imagine, I wonder if the lines moved. I know we were 1.5. I bet they were 1.5-point favorites. I bet that has changed with all of these moves. I don't see how we could not be favored in that game.
Yeah, I would think.
But it's just it's a little bit of it's a crazy time, obviously. That's a team that's saying, here's what we're doing. The Cowboys couldn't be being more aggressive despite losing last night, Jacoby Brissett looked phenomenal.
We're 2.5 now.
We're 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
So that moved Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams were worth 3.5 points.
3.5 points. Yep. Yeah. Well, the Cowboys, I think from the Cowboys' perspective, and you think about, so they had Logan Wilson this morning, Quinnen Williams this afternoon. It sounds like a 2027 one that's going for Quinnen, which I think will have more value than a 2026 because, as you pointed out a second ago, the 27 draft should be nuts from a talent standpoint. But I think Dallas is one of those ones where, Jerry traded Micah. The defense is bad. He said Micah's going to help let us fix this because of what we got back from Micah, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. I don't even know that he has – the idea to do this on a 3-5-1 team
is wild.
And now they have the Raiders next, but then I think they have Philly, Kansas City, and the Lions the next 3. Even if they win, can they win 2 of those 4?
I don't know.
And now you're 5-7-1. That ain't going to cut it in an NFC that's got 10 teams at 500 or better. Not including you, which isn't.
Basically did was swap out Micah for Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, and they took a second-round pick and made it a first-round pick. Is the net of all of it for them.
Yeah.
Which is not terrible,
Yeah.
but not great.
Pretty locked in. I don't know. Hard to say.
I don't know. I just think there are a lot of guys on this team that are probably not going to be on this team next year. And so, to me, I would like to see us get some ammunition for the future. Because if these guys leave, when you're in the comp program, the best it can be is pick number 97.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best. That would be the most expensive free agent signed away from a team that you did not sign a free agent of that ilk back.
Yeah.
So if you can do better than that, teams seem to be throwing around picks. I would imagine we have some pretty valuable people out there. I don't know.
We have so many things that need to be addressed this offseason, too. I mean, you and I have talked about it. We only have one offensive lineman under the contract for next year. Like, that is an entire room that has to be rebuilt. Now, you could retain some of your own guys, certainly, and the expectation is that you will, but you're not going to retain all of them. So you need potentially 2 tackles. I mean, you need 2 starting tackles.
Yeah, because, unfortunately, DeWan.
Jack's done with his contract at the end of this year, and DeWan isn't someone, I don't think you can put him in with Sharpie.
Yeah.
Because of all the injuries, of no fault of his own. But I think you need 2 left tackles. You might need 2 guards.
Yeah.
So you got to rebuild this entire offensive front in one off season, and you're going to need Arsenal to be able to do it, let alone the receiver situation where right now we just don't have anything that scares anybody deep. And so you got to find that too. So, yeah, you need a lot. You need a lot in an off season. And so you've got a little less than 50 minutes here before the trade deadline, and we'll see if anything percolates. We really haven't I haven't seen, now to be fair, I didn't see the Jets linked in all this stuff, and then all of a sudden it just happened.
Yep.
So,
that's how we
crazy things can
operate
happen.
as well. Typically kind of silent, and then that's how we go. Yeah, it is. It's interesting. It's one of those things that's where I'm curious what we are and what we think we are.
That's it.
Like, what do we see the next 9 games being, and what do we see? Like, what are the next 9 games, and taking that into 2026? What are we looking at here? Now we've got 2-1, so you made a great trade with Jacksonville. You made 2 really good trades with Jacksonville.
The idea that what we got from Jacksonville for that pick, juxtaposed to what the Jets just got
for Sauce Gardner, an established
first-team All-Pro, best corner in the league type guy.
Yeah. We got more than that.
We got more than that, which is the Travis Hunter deal is a hell of a deal.
Yeah, and he's on IR. They're not saying what it is, but he's not coming back anytime soon. They just traded for Jacoby Myers.
Yeah. Yep. But no, I'm with you. I think that would be – I just think a little transparency in terms of how do we see this going here for the rest of this season, and then what does this offseason look like? I'm very curious in terms of how this build, because you've got a fully formed defense, but that ages with every game. And so what does that look like a year from now? How do you remake an offense in one off season? It feels like a tall order for one off season, and that's really what needs to happen here. You're going to do something at quarterback.
Yep.
Either bring somebody in or you're going to draft another one. Feels like that's where we are right now. Offensive line, we went over that, and then you need weapons. You need things that scare people. This is a scoring league, man. If you're not scoring, the Jeremiah thing that you said it's on point. Like if you're not scoring points, what are you doing? This isn't 1985. It's not even 1999 or 2002 with the Ravens. You can't win that way. Everybody in this league scores.
You've got to score. We went through it. We went through how important it is to score.
No, it can't be just that. It can't be Cincinnati. That's the extreme.
But it can be, though. Cincinnati is if you say let's just score 38 points in a game.
Yeah.
The Bengals are the anomaly. That is whatever's happening there is an anomaly. They're 1-4. Everybody else is 87-6.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm still gonna say even if you add that in, so now you're 88-10. 88-10.
Yeah, right. That's true.
I'll take my chances scoring 38 a game.
Yep.
I'll take my chances. I mean, a team hadn't lost back-to-back games scoring 38 since the 1960s.
Right. True. Yeah.
I can tell you, you lose lots of games back-to-back when you score 10.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. Yeah.
It just is an interesting time. See, what I love what the Jets are doing from a position standpoint in terms of now we've got these ones, but here's the thing. Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams are still young.
They're 27 and 25, I think. Sauce is 25. I know Quinnen's 27.
So, to me, those aren't guys that you trade.
Sauce Gardner just turned 25.
Those aren't guys you trade.
Yeah,
so
that's the one. I don't. And
well,
Quinnen
you got
too,
2 ones for it, and Quinnen too.
Are you going to draft somebody better than 25-year-old Sauce Gardner? You better.
They're saying
or
if
be
we
in
end
the
up with a
vicinity.
quarterback in Jeremiah Smith, that's maybe more important.
Yeah.
And they might be right.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. But then you better be in position to nurture whomever that quarterback is.
Well, giving them Garrett Wilson,
27 or 26, if Garrett's still there.
If he's there. Now, if they trade him and then they trade Breece Hall, now it's like, okay, you just got rid of your young core of stars. Yeah. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, and here's the other thing, just from a if you go back to last spring, and we were having all the conversations at the time at the deadline or at the combine, and we were having the conversations around who? We were having the conversations around Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, a little bit of Jackson Dart. But everything we heard from everybody at the combine was wait till 26. That's your quarterback draft.
Yeah, now everybody.
Klubnik, Nussmeier, Sellers. Maybe Arch comes out. Nobody was talking about Fernando Mendoza, who now they're saying could go number 1 after 8 seasons at 8 games at Indiana.
This was before I was college football Nate. But college football Bo told me Baker came out of nowhere. Kyler came out of nowhere, right? In terms of being the number 1 overall pick.
Bake did for sure. Kyler was really highly regarded. He had a weird college thing. He was the number 1 player in the top 5-star, all that stuff. So he went to A&M first and just kind of got derailed a little bit. But I think probably Cam Ward kind of came out of nowhere last year, where I loved him at Washington State, but I heard through the grapevine that his only thing coming out of Washington State was who's going to pay me the most. And the big reason for that was nobody really knew what he was going to be as a pro. So he wanted as big a paycheck as he could get. The biggest paycheck that was offered was Miami, and that's why he went there. And had a great season. It worked out. He was the number 1 pick in the draft. It all worked out. So maybe Mendoza can be that. They will not play a team until Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game that has a win.
Yep.
In conference play. Their next 3 games that they play, the teams have no conference wins. So it'd be hard to know. You're going to find out what he is. Remember the Drew Aller stuff?
Oh, boy.
Leading into that semifinal game?
Yep.
And they had beaten, who was it? They beat SMU, Boise State, and we said, okay, well, he'll get Notre Dame in the semifinal. Let's see what it looks like against there. And I'm not here to throw stones at Drew Aller. Fantastic Medina kid. I hope he gets back healthy. I hope that if it's in the pros or wherever. But then you see it against light comp. That's the thing that's so hard about quarterback.
Yeah.
Is there aren't that many games. If you are a quarterback on an elite team, there aren't that many games that talent equates. If you are an elevator, that some of these guys are, and maybe Mendoza's that, although Indiana's got big-time talent now. If you're an elevator, then the thing is, well, are you in a system that takes advantage exactly of your specific skill set, and can you still do the things that are required? It's the most difficult thing to do. Draft a quarterback is the most difficult thing to do. Draft one, nurture one, develop them, hit on it. I mean, just think, as smart as Kyle is, and look at how well Mac Jones is playing right now, he put all of his eggs in Trey Lance and was bailed out by Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's it. That's how hard it is. We all think Kyle, McVay, those guys are the smartest guys in the league, and even they miss on this stuff, right?
And by the way, McVay is very lucky, obviously, that Matt Stafford is Matt Stafford, because it could be oh, you couldn't make it work with Goff, and look at him.
He's so
now.
lucky.
But nobody, that's not even a conversation.
No, it's not.
Because they
won a Super Bowl.
Got a
and
solution.
They might get another one. But yeah, right. I mean, that's a great point. It is crazy that Goff wasn't I can. They went to a Super Bowl with him.
Threw for 4,500 yards.
I know. They went to a Super Bowl with him. He's like, this isn't good enough.
Yeah.
So
and it worked.
It worked. I mean, for both.
But you never hear why couldn't you make Goff work out here? Because certainly he's much younger. You could have a much longer run. Whatever.
Absolutely.
But to your point about quarterbacks and big time players, so you're going to know who this is, but there was a quarterback last year on a pretty good team. 73% completions, 4,010 yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 picks, and whatever this college rating is, 175.3. Averaged 9.5 yards per attempt. It's Will Howard. He went the 5th round.
Right. Yeah, that's why it's so hard.
And he's
Now,
6'4". He can
big.
run.
Yeah, no, for
He
sure.
can make all the throws.
Yeah.
And he won the 5th round.
So
So
the 5th round.
Who knows what he ends up being, but I'm just saying, like, it is.
That's why it's so difficult to identify these guys. Like the Nussmeier kid at LSU, who everybody said, well, maybe he's going to go number 1. They're having a brutal year.
Yep.
Well, how much of that's on him?
Carson Beck.
How much is it on the chaos? Bring up Beck. That's a perfect one.
Beck was going to be number 1 last year.
He's Bo Callahan, dude. He throws players and coaches under the bus in these University of Miami press conferences when they lose. Georgia couldn't get rid of him quick enough.
Yep.
They could not get rid of him quick enough. And so now he's at Miami. They got a couple losses. What do you do with it? So it's just brutal to pick it. And I think what we've seen with Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield is that it's the most complicated thing you can do in sports. Draft the quarterback, nurture the quarterback, develop the quarterback, see it all the way through. Some people have a knack for it. The Green Bay Packers have a knack for it. They can identify, by the way, and Jordan Love almost threw one of the most stupefying interceptions
Oh, my goodness, that's
in the
crazy.
history of the sport
I think it's
Sunday.
because he was in that.
I don't know
that
what
uniform.
That uniform confused him. I don't know. It was the most stupefying interception. He's lucky the kid dropped it. They still lost. But like the Packers, they have that plan that they use.
Yeah.
How much of it's luck? I don't know. Who knows? But it's just a very difficult thing to do. And so what the Jets are doing here, it's a big time gamble. But from a fan base perspective, I could see how you'd say, okay, 5 first-round picks in the 26 and 27 draft. Let's hit on 4 of them, and we're right back. Let's hit on 4 of them.
Yep.
You're not going to hit on all 5. Hit on 4.
I'd rather. It'd be nice if you could figure out a way to just hit on 2 or 3 and still have Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. It feels like those are automatic hits.
It's crazy when you think Sauce has just turned 25.
And Quinnen Williams 27. Like,
Yeah.
the guys you want to trade are the guys that are aging that, when you look at 2027 and you're ready to roll, that maybe they're on the decline at that point, and that's who you bring in replacements for.
Yes.
Not guys that are still ascending premier players. Now, clearly, the people in that building that did not draft those guys, they aren't that impressed with them.
Can you imagine like Aaron Glenn?
And Aaron Glenn's a defensive guy.
I know. I just can't see him. I mean, he just must really not.
So there
be a
must
fan
be
of those
something
players.
behind the scenes that we don't know about, whatever it
Maybe
is.
they're not listening, or he was trying to build it in his own image. You got to be careful with that, though. Like that build it within my own image thing. Like to tear down the walls of a house that's got good foundation. There's gamble to that. So
Breece Hall was not expected to be traded, even though he wants to be traded.
yeah, I thought we would see more in the AFC. Obviously, the Colts are all in. So the Colts got their quarterback in Danny Jones. They got their roster. Now they just give a massive boost to their cornerback room with adding maybe the best corner in the entire league, or on a short list of the best corners in all the league. The Dallas thing, it's harder for me to wrap my head around because you're talking about a 3-5-1 team. So that's the tricky spot there. Is what do you do with that? Jeez, look at him. Oh, he's got a little shake over there. See if he can influence. He's just running some big business.
There he is. There he is.
Look at this.
Ooh, yeah, that's a little
Look
bit.
at this.
A little bit
That's
roomier,
nice.
but still
you know
a
what?
little painted on.
And that's
roomier,
a little bit
roomier, but
I think
still
that
painted,
is a
still
true
painted.
peacock coat too. That's
That
a
is.
peacock blue on that coat.
That's right.
That is a delight.
That is a
That
delight.
is good to see. Yeah, so the Dallas part of it, they're kind of I'm not sure what they're trying to be either. in that sense.
Jerry needs to win, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Jerry needs to win.
Jerry needs himself a win. A couple other minor deals here. We're about 36 minutes before the trade deadline goes complete. The Seahawks acquired wide receiver Rashid Shaheed from the Saints in exchange for a 4th and 5th round pick. Clint Kubiak, who's the offensive coordinator there, so there's some familiarity on that side of things. I mentioned Logan Wilson traded from the Bengals for a 7th-round pick, and the Jaguars agreed to terms with the Raiders to acquire Jacoby Myers in exchange for a 4th and 6th. The Steelers were in on the Jacoby Myers deal, were outbid by the Jaguars. The Steelers did sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling, of course, that they would do that. The Bengals are going to be fascinating here in the last half hour with Trey Hendrickson. Everything that I hear down there is that they're not doing it, and I don't know if that's just stubborn or what, but like he's not under contract. They were trying to hold out for a 1. Like, You're not getting a 1 for a guy who's not under contract, who's going to be available for the last 8 games. And so I don't know. I keep hearing Seattle keeps having a lot up their sleeve. Seems like the 49ers still could have something, and maybe Denver are the teams that are most active according to the various insiders.
I will be amazed if we don't move anybody. Like, I know we trade Joe Tryon, Shoyinka. I mean, if we don't move one of our, aging stars, I would be surprised. I mean, personally, I'm not saying that as scores. Like, I would be surprised if that does not
you're
happen.
saying
I'm
it would make
like
sense to do that
Nathan,
based on where we are.
Yeah. And you never know how guys feel about it either. We put Hoff's brain in a pretzel, but he stayed here. But a guy like Joel Bitonio, it feels like this might be it for him.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him get an opportunity. Obviously you want it to be here, and there's no reason why we have more games left than we've played. So maybe we could finish 11-6. I don't know. You can't say we can't.
Can't say we can't.
Not right now. You might be able to say that on Monday.
Yeah, you could.
But right now you can't say it.
No.
So,
that's
maybe
the tricky
that
thing
here,
is there's so many layers to something like that. And, I mean, you think about we love Bitonio, and you think about all of it. And if somebody reached out to us about Joel, then you would say, okay, well, we got to talk to Joel.
Yeah, of course.
And then you don't know what his why is. These are people too, and it's the middle of a school year, and it's the middle of season, and all of that, and what does all that look like? There's a million factors that lead into it, and humans by nature don't particularly love change. Especially as we age, we like things that we're used to and grown accustomed to, and so that's a part of it too.
Say that again. I don't like
yes.
certain changes. Time.
Certainly. Yeah, time of day, certainly.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll keep monitoring this. We did have Monday Night Football last night. Sad for the scores. Really pathetic out of the Cowboys.
Knowing that all this was coming,
I know,
knowing that they had just mortgaged a great deal of their future. I mean,
he said it.
He said it.
Wait till you see. He had big things cooking.
Yeah,
and they still laid an egg like that.
Unbelievable. Good for Jacoby Brissett. It's always fun to see.
Well, this is who. I mean, we had him here with Drew Petzing.
Great dude.
Who's the offensive coordinator out there. So there's a familiarity between the two of them. I don't think it's a coincidence that Marvin Harrison's unlocked a little bit with Jacoby Brissett versus Kyler.
Much better in this game, yep.
I think stylistically, Kyler is a very tough quarterback to play with, and it takes a very specific coaching staff to build something around him. And now, I mean, he misses games now. I mean, this is several seasons when he's been hurt. If you're them, I don't know what you do here. Like, do you pivot off of Kyler?
I think it's pretty clear.
You saw the Marvin Harrison Sr. comments too yesterday?
I did. And this is amateur eyes, and I know that it is very different than how you appear on a sideline to playing football, but we also were pretty clued in that J.J. McCarthy was okay.
Yeah.
And he jumped out of the way of Justin Jefferson, and then guess what? He starts. Played well, by the way. Ran for a touchdown.
He was all right, yeah.
Won, beat the Lions in Detroit.
He did win, yeah.
I don't think Kyler's hurt. He didn't appear to be hurt at all.
No, did not. No, and he's a Texas kid.
Yeah, I think they're trying to move him. I just don't think anybody wants him. Now, if I'm Miami, would I take a shot on him?
What is that? What is that contract? He's 28.
If I was the Jets, would I take a shot on him? Sure. I definitely would if I was the Jets.
I'm just curious what that contract is.
If the Jets
He's a two-time Pro Bowler. He's 28.
What's it say on over the cap for his contract?
Boy, he played 17 games last season. They went 8-9 last year. He completed 70% of his passes, 38, 51, 21, and 11. But that's it. I mean, he played all games his first 2 years in the league. Then he played 14, 11, 8, 17 last year, and so far 5 this year. I know they did the extension with him.
So they would have 27 in dead money over the next 3 years if they traded him. Which is not. That's over the next 3 years. That's totally manageable. Yeah. I mean, that's a team that if they do pivot off of him, that's a Mac Jones off season. And then you try to do the Darnold Jones thing. Hey man, we might be wanting Mac Jones. Let's not let.
Last
time we talked about Daniel Jones, he ends up in Indy. Now we're talking Mac Jones. You're going to throw him into Scottsdale. Might have to sign up for ACD at that point.
Might have to. Anything breaking over there? We're all good. Just waiting. Last half hour. Hello, Gibby. How are you?
Just here, baby. Just waiting.
Yeah, there's
refreshing the Twitter, making sure that anything that comes through gets double and triple checked. This is a day you don't want to get suckered.
No, you don't. All right, let's. We'll keep an eye on this. We got about 30 minutes before the trade deadline. We'll see
some fun and games for you all today.
We've got some fun. Got some fun and frivolity. But we'll keep an eye on this trade deadline as well. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We are off and running. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Add more fun to your fandom with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today. Get 50 back in bonus bets. You place your first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head to the podium now. Presented by Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats, purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Here is Wyatt Teller.
Why, how frustrating has
You're down.
to see the offense and guys struggle trying to get some continuity and everything?
Yeah, it's just struggling because like last year, I didn't think that we had all the pieces in place, and we, won 3 games or something like that. And I was surprised at that. Now we played 2 teams really tough that we know in and out. But this past year, preseason, everything like that, everything was rolling so well. So I feel like it's a little bit more frustrating that it's like, there's a team that I don't know is 4-5, 5-4, Carolina, that we went down there, and I'm telling you, now they might say they didn't get beat, but just from a viewer, I've been to a lot of joint practices, and we were giving it to them. So it's just like, if that's where we could have been all year and we haven't been doing it, what did we do? How can we get back to that? And how can we kind of have that confidence, grit to be able to have success, especially if we do have success early in a game, because every game we've had a little bit of success here and there. How can we continually have that?
What changed?
What do you mean?
Like in terms of how you felt in some of those joint practices?
Yeah, I mean, you get into the game, things happen. Early we had a great run plan going. Movement protection, stuff like that. Things that you see all across the league. And I think that we kind of got into the game. I feel like that first game was kind of we were all in shell shock because we should have won that game, right? A kick at the end of the game. Now, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But at the end of the day, anytime you have a chance to win, and I'd say that in most of our games we've had a chance going into the fourth or halfway through the third. So how can we get further down the line and kind of have a chance to win at the end?
Can a change in play calling like this give you guys that spark you're probably desperately needing?
I pray. I hope so.
Well, you talked a lot about the run game, and do you feel like sometimes you guys have abandoned the run a little bit too soon in some of these games?
Yeah, but if you're a defensive coordinator and you want to stop the run, you can stop the run. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can play halves technique, you can have your backers run downhill, and you can have 7 guys on the line. Mm-hmm. If you don't respect someone's a pass game or whatever, then, or if you're not afraid or you don't feel that they're dangerous, then you're not afraid to put 6 guys on the line. Now it's one block, and I'd say that I'm a pretty good run blocker, and there's times where I'll miss my block, right? So how can we find consistent ways of being viewed as dangerous to where we don't get 6 down the lines, 8-man boxes where running the ball is pretty hard.
Have you noticed a difference in how things are defending you the last 2 or 3 games compared to maybe when Joe was in there?
Yeah, no, I don't see that. I feel that the same problems we had early in the season are the same problems we're having now. Our defense is playing tight. Obviously we're not turning the ball over as much this past game we did, but there's some good. We're getting back on track with the turnover battle. So just playing the odds. I mean, if you don't give the ball to them, you play good defense and you have good time of possession with a score, you should win, right? So as long as we can give an opportunity to our defense to seal out a game, us to finish in victory.
Like you mentioned last season, the linemen were talking about getting back to some of the outside stuff, right? You go a lot of pull. And I don't think you've done a ton of that this year. Do you feel like when Kevin talks about evaluating everything at the bye, leaning into that could be something you guys do come out of the bye?
Sure. No, I feel that there's things that we've done for years that obviously defenses get a tell on stuff, but how can we be multiple and versatile? I feel like that's one of our identity points is an offense that can look same and different at the same time. I feel that if that's getting to the outside, to the perimeter, pin and pull, transportation plays, and that helps. But I also think that, arguably the best part of our team is the offensive line. So how can we also get those downhill interior runs that I love? Because Q's pretty good at that stuff.
Well,
I don't want to take that away from him.
You might have answered this already, so I apologize. But tomorrow, with a trade deadline, do you concern yourself with that? Or
no. At the end of the day, I view it as like, hey, it's a compliment. People think that I'm good enough to get traded. I hope that I don't get traded. I want to retire a Cleveland Brown. I love it here. I was just talking to these guys about deer hunting and fishing and stuff like that. I don't want to leave this place. I love this place. But even more than that, I love the city and the fans and everything like that. I know that sounds like very cliche, but I truly do. If anybody knows, my family and I, we're very close in this community. So no, I don't want to get traded, but obviously business is in business, and I know that if this could help the Cleveland Browns or something like that, I'm not above the team.
Along those lines with the possibility of being traded, like I assume even though the season hasn't gone the way you guys wanted, you would like to stick here and be a part of the solution and figuring it out, right?
100%. I don't want to leave. I don't want to tuck tail and leave and because I feel like a couple years ago we were that close to being in the AFC Championship. Like that's just mind-boggling for any Cleveland Browns fan because it's just been since the 80s since we've done it. So we used to do it consistently. So how can we bring that culture back that goes to the playoffs that it has a winning team, that it's not the same old Cleveland Browns? And I feel like we were right there, and then kind of took a step back. But I'm not blind to the fact that we're right there. And again, as bad as the season is viewed or perceived, we're like 2 or 3 plays away from a lot different season. Now that can be said for a lot of teams, but we're right there. Now, how can we be more consistent and win, especially, and that's what good teams do late.
What have you last year, especially now, have success?
Yeah, no, I feel like Tommy has. Well, first of all, just on the sidelines, he's up in the box, so he's going to have a better view of what's going on. I think that when it comes to play calling, that's one less thing on Kevin's plate. Now he can focus fully on being, head coach. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. They're the same plays. It's not like we have a new playbook going in where it's going to be like, by the way, we got 17 new players and we're just going to rate it out. It's probably going to be, stuff that we're good at, getting better at, kind of what your point was, getting back to stuff that we're good at, being able to, utilize this offense and maximize the players, which is a part of our identity.
How much are you hoping to help add tomorrow to this team? Maybe bring in a player or two that can help you not only today, but help you tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, whatever AB thinks is best. That being said, I don't think the cupboards are bare here. I think we have a pretty damn talented team. I was saying this earlier. People could point at a player here and there, all this different stuff. In the preseason, we were going down to teams and whooping their butt. So how can we get back to that?
All right, there you go from Wyatt Teller. We are 17 minutes from the trade deadline. We're taking a quick timeout. We'll take you all the way to 4 o'clock. If there is anything late percolating, a lot of reporting that Garrett Wilson is going nowhere with the Jets. We'll recap what's happened so far and take a look at what could happen here in the next 15 minutes. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Junior Browns backers presented by University Hospitals, Rainbows, Babies and Children, in association with Cardinal Credit Union, Browns official kid club. Kids ages 4 to 12 sign up for premium packages by November 30th and score an invite to Chomp's Chill Zone event. Guarantees your kit arrives by the holidays and be entered to win a signed Myles Garrett jersey plus a 2026 premium membership. Visit juniorbrownsbackers.com to join today. We are now 12 minutes from the NFL trade deadline. The headliners have been the New York Jets, who have traded Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams. In return for that, they now have an ability to have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts in 26 and 27. But it was a massive price. It's a 25-year-old superstar and a 27-year-old superstar that they jettisoned. The Cowboys getting Williams, Sauce Gardner to Indianapolis. So those are the headlines of the day. There was a trade, though, that piqued your interest. We mentioned it briefly in the first segment, and that is what the Seattle Seahawks did, bringing in Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, I like that. Rashid Shaheed going to Seattle, to pair him with Jackson Smith-Njigba, that gives them a burner for what – and they play a lot of 12 personnel. So they'll be in the 12 personnel. They'll have Jackson Smith-Njigba, and then they'll have Rashid Shaheed. And he's going to command a safety. He really is. He is explosive. I'm pretty
Did
sure –
Kubiak have him?
Yeah, Kubiak in New Orleans. Wasn't he in New Orleans? Yeah, he was in New Orleans. And, in fact, in that year – which was last year, in 6 games, he had 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaged 17.5 a catch. The guy who's averaged prior to this year, when they don't throw the ball down the field at all for the New Orleans Saints. So take this year out of it. Prior to this year, he averaged 17.4, 15.6, 17.5 yards per catch. His best year was 23, where he was a Pro Bowl, and he's also a first-team All-Pro as a return specialist. He had a punt return touchdown in 23, a punt return touchdown in 24. That year he averaged 13.6 yards per punt return, and he's been quite good in that regard, so that helps him out there as well. But yeah, Kubiak was the OC there with Derek Carr. Then he goes to Seattle. You mentioned he was somebody that was interested in, obviously, his familiarity with Kevin and obviously his dad Gary Kubiak.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good get for them. That's a real good get. Last year of his rookie deal. My guess is they'll sign him to some type of extension. But you talk about a guy that can get down the field and as a complement to Jackson Smith-Njigba, just in terms of what he's going to require safeties to do over the top. This is a great trade.
That means him and Jacoby Myers are the only 2
offensive players
dealt
of any note, and neither one of them are.
No,
they're far from marquee.
No, she's a great piece for Seattle. I just am floored by this because, to me, when I looked at the standings yesterday, and you and I talked about it, and I saw 8 AFC teams over 500, and Kansas City currently out of the playoffs at 5-4. And then the next best record in the AFC is 2 games under. Now it's Baltimore, and I wouldn't bet against them winning the division. That very well could happen. I think it's very likely. They're going to be favored in every game they play. But I am surprised that the only 2 AFC teams that took a swing were Indy in a big way with Sauce and Jacksonville kind of band-aiding a problem with Travis Hunter now out for an extended period of time. Nobody else to this point with 9 minutes to go has swung for it. And none of the teams that are 2 games under have pushed the chips in and said, all right, let's get some assets and let's figure this thing out. Do you think it's false hope? Like, what is Cincinnati doing with Hendrickson?
I don't know. Maybe they hope that they can get it done. Maybe they hope that they're content to keep trying to play the season out with him and hope that they can get a comp pick for it and be happy with that. I really don't know. I'm very surprised, and we still have 8 minutes. I'm surprised though that nothing's happened. But I think what you've seen is that what the Jets just did right there, and whether they're right or wrong, I don't know. I don't know the answer. But what they just said right there is we need assets to get good on offense in a hurry, and we're willing to give up defense for offense. Nobody around the league's been willing to give up offense.
No.
I mean, Rashid Shaheed's best season, as I said, was 700 yards, but he's a complimentary piece.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers, is a fine player. It's wild to me that after giving up what they give for Hunter, they're going to give up even more this year just to rent Jacoby Myers, who's, again, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's a fine player, was an undrafted free agent. He did have 1,000 yards last year. He's had at least 800 yards in, 4 straight seasons, but not like this guy's not a needle mover. He averages 11 yards a catch for his career. He's not.
No. He's a Band-Aid to try to get them and keep their head above water until Travis comes back, and I don't know
how much he's going to give you than even what Parker Washington. Parker Washington had a good game last week.
It's a fair point.
So who knows? Who knows? It is. I think the league is showing you, though, right now, Dallas is saying we're good on offense. We need to stop somebody. So they're trying to supplement their defense clearly. But the rest of the league is saying, no, we're not going to give up anybody. We're not giving up any offense. That's not happening.
No, weapons, weapons, weapons. Sounds like something we said for 3 months straight, all spring long. And I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more from Miami. This morning it was like, Bradley Chubb's going to get moved. The Niners were circling defensive line help. To this point, nothing on that front. We know that Denver was going to make a swing, and Denver needed offensive line help. They were looking for offensive line help. To this point, nothing. It's possible that there just aren't enough weapons and quality offensive linemen to go around, and the folks that have them don't want to give them up.
Yeah, I think it would be wild if this is it.
I agree.
Like, if this is it for the trade deadline, it seems stunning to me. One team basically said, you know what, we're going to position ourselves for the future, even if that means we have to give up some of our young players on defense because we are just focused on it. It says to me, we're focused on this offense and becoming a team that can score. And I think if you're a team that can score, it might not be a bad idea because – it's clear right now, if you are a team that can get your offense together, you can acquire defensive players.
Oh, yeah.
But
they're there.
The opposite is not true. So from that standpoint, the Jets are saying, all right, these are our most valuable assets. They play defense. We've been a great defense. Hasn't meant anything.
No.
So we need to score. So my guess is those 5 first-round picks are going to be used at least for offense.
Yeah.
If not 5.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah.
But that's
it, though. And we have the best defensive
league,
player
man.
in football.
We were the number one. Yeah, we had yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. If you're not scoring, you're not really doing anything, and there's no real path.
No, and you have to be able to throw the football. Like, there was a great video I watched 2 days ago. I have to find it. That was about the game theory of passing and running, and how it's obviously passing is the way to success. And why do you run? But defenses want teams to run the ball. They want you to run the ball,
of course,
because the best running backs get 5 yards an attempt. The worst quarterbacks get 5 yards an attempt.
Yep.
Think about that. Like right there. Just think about that statement. Full stop. We're last in the league by a yard in pass per attempt, and we average 5.
Yep.
By a yard. Which is
a full yard, yeah.
That's massive to be a yard back out of 31st.
Yes.
Considering that the top is like 9.5. But if you average 5 yards a carry, you're the best running team in the league.
Yes.
That's
it. That's the path.
That is the path, but, and it can't be fixed overnight, but it just goes back to weapons, 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 weapons. And look, you got a guy they consider a blue chip guy in Mason Graham. And then Schlesinger is in the defensive rookie of the year conversation. There's no question.
Sensational.
Sensational. Yeah. Your offense, though, has not been good. And now maybe the play caller change is that's what jumpstarts it. But I think, it's pretty apparent that our wide receivers and just our wide receiver quarterback combo, like if you were to look at that around the league and say, here are the wide receivers and quarterbacks, we're at the bottom.
Yeah.
Probably not last.
Yep.
But we're in the bottom. If you broke it in like there are 8 divisions in football, we're in the 8th of 8th division in terms of quarterback wide receiver combos.
Yeah, and I think this buttresses your point well, and this is someone that we saw in the joint practices. Carolina has won 4 out of 5. They drafted McMillan, who we loved in the process, who was obviously drafted after,
they drafted
after
Leggett in the first round. Not that he's been great, but he's made some plays for them.
Right. And then they get Rico Dowdle
for $2 million.
For $2 million bucks. Guy's averaging 5.6 a carry. He has 735 yards.
Like, I know.
And you paid $2 million for him.
Why did
like
the Cowboys
Bryce Young's
let-
not even playing great. I mean, he's 61%, 11 touchdowns, 6 picks, 1,400 yards. Like, he's not lights out, but they have things that can make plays. They have some guys who are game breakers, and they've won 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And they're sitting here at 5-4, and I'm going to be paying NBC $1,000 by the time this thing is done when they go to 6-4 next week.
Just want to be there. I'll make you an oversized check.
It's going to be a lot like, what's the gif of the guy smoking the cigar while he's feet up and I'm just counting off? It sucks.
By the way, this from Adam Schefter. There have been 6 trades today, tied for the third most on any trade deadline going back to 1990. There were 10 trades in 2022, 8 in 2024. So, I don't know. I guess it feels like there were a lot of trades today and a lot of moves, but
I think it was just what I think is a little surprising is that for the most part, this division stood pat. Now, Pittsburgh tried. Pittsburgh was in on Myers, and they did try.
And the Ravens got.
Did they add a minimum?
Draymond?
Oh, yeah, Draymond Jones. Yeah, Cleveland guy, Buckeye. Yeah, that's right. So the Ravens did make a play on their defensive front. So
they made
that's
a couple
Because
small
with Matabike out, they needed another guy up there.
They needed a guy. Yeah, so you're right. Good catch on you. And the Bengals traded Logan Wilson, but have not done
Why was
anything
he
with Trey
benched?
Hendrickson. I have no idea. I mean, why'd you fire Lou Anarumo? You think he
Well,
forgot how
that's
to
what I
coach
said yesterday.
defense?
Yeah.
Like he forgot?
Fire the guy that
Ralph
drafted all
Golden?
these defensive players in the first or second round.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was it, Dick Tobin?
Duke
Tobin?
Tobin, yeah.
Well, at least the Saints and the Chargers made a deadline deal at $3.59. Saints trading offensive lineman Trevor Penning to the Chargers. Chargers need a tackle.
They need offensive line help they need it in a big way. So, all right, so the deadline is here. It is 4:00. Some things start to trickle in afterwards. We'll get you updated on all of it if there is something to update as we go around the league. Coming up next, you listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Score big with Howard Hanna, official real estate partner of your Cleveland Browns, is Northeast Ohio's #1 real estate provider. They're dedicated to helping you make the best move. Visit howardhanna.com/GoBrowns to explore your winning options today. The trade deadline has come and gone. This is a text from Brees Hall. Sick about my brothers, man. Happy for them, but man, I am sick. This from Adam Schefter. It appears that it is done. I'm sorry, that's not from Adam Schefter. That's me. This is from Adam Schefter in regard to the Miami Dolphins, which is a team that a lot of people thought would be making some moves. No moves there. The Dolphins got calls for Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb. The Dolphins did not make another deal before the deadline and opted to hold on to both. The Cincinnati Bengals did not trade Trey Hendrickson as we are standing here now a few minutes after the deadline. No move there for him. We stood pat. We traded Joe Tryon-Shoyinka to the Bears. And that's it. That's the list. So no changes were made. Kevin will talk again tomorrow. So maybe you get
He will right around 11 a.m.
There you go. So maybe you'll get a little bit of clarity there in terms of what the thought process is there in terms of
he might not. The reality is he's probably going to say those are questions for Andrew.
Yeah, but they're going to ask him.
They probably will.
Yeah, they'll ask him, and so obviously you understand you got to coach it better, you got to play better, you got to do all those things that they talk about all the time. But to have your only real change being a coordinator change and play caller change, some different results. Now the good news is if you're looking for wins, you should get one this weekend because the Jets have just been decimated. And I think what Aaron Glenn is the next time he has a team meeting, which will be tomorrow, will be that's a tough room to walk into if you're him. You've been on the job for less than a year, and you're walking into that room having jettisoned Sauce Gardner at age 25 to Indianapolis and Quinnen Williams, age 27, to Dallas. Those were franchise cornerstone players. They traded them both today.
Yeah. So the Browns really had three options here at this deadline, which was sell future assets for current players.
Yep.
Which made, to me, very little sense.
Yeah.
I guess you'd say there's four options. You could do nothing.
Yep.
Which we basically did. Mm-hmm. You could do sell kind of expiring contracts or current players for draft capital, future draft capital, which I would have said, yes, let's do that.
Yep.
Or you could sell expiring contracts for players, so like player in, player out, who are under contract, which was the Newsome-Campbell trade.
Yeah.
We could have done more of that. I would have thought selling current players for draft capital in the future or expiring contracts for players under contract. Maybe our guy was better, but he was an expiring contract. I thought we would have done no less than, in fact, I put the over-under on this, no less than that at 2.5 deals. I thought we were going to be pretty active there. I really did.
Yep.
Instead, we did nothing. You could say we traded Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and a 7 to get a 6. So we moved 1 7 round to a 6 round, which, great. Whoever's doing the radio show that day, good for them. Gibby usually has us off before the 7th hour anyway. 7th round anyway.
7th round anyway. That's usually good.
Anytime you get rid of a 7th rounder, it's a good day.
Right.
Now, I would have just told them to hang on to the 6th rounder too, but
I really am, though. I am very surprised that we did nothing. I didn't think, like I said, I never thought we were going to be buyers. I never thought we were going to be mortgaging the future for doing anything. I'm surprised, though, that we did not move any assets for future draft capital. Here we are. We had guys, Shelby, Rayshon Jenkins.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let alone if somebody was going to make a Hail Mary for Joel or something like that. All of those type of things you could have had. We outlined this in the first hour of the show. We have a lot of needs in this next off season, and I understand from the football perspective, they're looking at this and going, man, we got 9 games left.
Yep.
We're
More
at the
than we've
halfway
even
point.
played. Yep.
And quite honestly, like, this trade deadline is too damn soon. This thing should be, I think, 3 weeks from now.
Yep.
I think there's way too many teams that still have false hope that they're in it and believe, well, if this happens here, oh, we're close. No, you're not. A lot of you aren't close. You're not winning anything. You're not going to be in the mix. You're not beating the teams that are ahead of you in your divisions. Unless you're Baltimore and you have that cavalry of guys getting healthy coming over the hill and a bye week that timed up with Lamar Jackson coming back. If you have the best player in football returning, which is what Lamar's been the last 3 or 4 years, and you have that, okay, well then, yeah, you're in it. At 3-5, you're in it. Everybody else, there's no cavalry coming to save you. There isn't. Like, you could be the Bucs, but Bucs don't need saving. They're top of their division anyway, but they didn't need to do anything at this deadline. They got Bucky Irving coming back, Mike Evans coming back. Like, they're going to get healthy.
Their left tackle's coming back.
Right. Like, they're going to get healthy on their own. But for everybody else, I don't understand the thought process of these NFL teams, and I do think you should take this deadline and kick it back 2 or 3 weeks so that there was more clarity and these teams had less false hope than they do now.
Exactly right. I think it's exactly right. I think it needs to be, if it's a 17-game season, the trade deadline needs to be after, and I would consolidate the buys so that after 12 weeks, everybody's had their buys.
I like that.
And then I would have the trade deadline after that 12th week.
Yes.
Like that leading into week 13. And then everybody's got to play the final 5 games.
No buys,
plays
everybody
every
plays.
Week.
Yes.
And if you want to do it one more, you could do it through 11. So you could say that everybody's, basically 2/3 of the way through their season.
Yeah.
But that's where it needs to be. This is going into week 10, if I'm not mistaken. It needs to be going either into week 12 or into week 13. Right?
Yes.
And it used to be before the Browns got to move back 1 week. It was even a week earlier.
It's craziness.
Yeah. It should be 2/3 of the way through the season. So it can be through week 12, and everybody should be done with their buys.
I mean, there are a handful of teams who have played 9 games.
Yep.
It's a handful.
They haven't had their buys yet.
Right. But everybody else is at 8.
So
we're sitting here saying, like,
hold on.
I mean, how many of these teams are peddling false? What are the Miami Dolphins doing at 2-7?
I don't know why they didn't trade Chubb. It's surprising.
What are the Cincinnati Bengals doing at 3-6? Looking at that schedule.
So, all right, NFL. All right, so this week you got Bengals, Chiefs, Cowboys, Titans. Week 11, you've got Colts and Saints. Week 12, Broncos, Chargers, Commanders, Dolphins are on bye. Week 13, the buys are over. So that's it.
So they already have it set up.
set up that way. So then it should be. Oh, no, they have in week 14. So nobody has a bye in week 13. That's Thanksgiving week. And week 14, this is nuts. This is insane. The Niners, Giants, Panthers, and Patriots don't have their bye until week 14. And then nobody has a bye 15, 16, 17, or 18. Okay, so all the buys need to be done by week 12. Now, what you're eventually going to get to, and this is going to make it even better. So let's just put our thinking caps on here. Let's go to the 18-game schedule. Okay? Everybody is going to get 2 buys.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to play 1 international game. So I think you kind of have it by and there's enough games to make it work.
Of course there is.
You do starting in teams get either week 4, 5, 6, 7. You go 2 divisions, 2 divisions, 2 divisions, 2 divisions.
Mm-hmm.
Or 8, whatever.
Yeah.
8 teams get a bye in each of those 4 weeks. So starting in week 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you've got bye. Then you would play 9, 10, 11. And then you would have buys. I'm sorry, you'd probably have the buys. The team that was in week 4 would then bye again in week 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then everybody would play the final 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And so your bye was you either went initially longer or you went shorter, and then you got 2 breaks kind of in the middle.
Yep.
Some teams would hit it right on where they get it at 6 and 12, right? Where they get basically 3 equal 6s or thirds of a schedule. But that's the way you got to do it. Everybody gets 2 buys, and they're over. And then that's the trade deadline right there.
Yeah.
You'll
And
have
then
18
you'll know.
You'll have 6 games left. Are we in this or are we not in this?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? And I think you'd get more action, and I think it would be a better product, and teams.
And it would help teams, right? I mean, in so many of these places, you have general managers, coaches fighting for their jobs. They're trying to massage wins to get to a record that can. I mean, think about like Mike McDaniel in Miami. They've already fired the general manager. Like, he's 2-7. What is. They had a window where they were pretty dynamic offensively. You have a catastrophic injury to Tyreek Hill. Like, what's the plan here?
Yep.
Are you going to run that whole group back? What's the in Cincinnati, coming off of those 2 losses and staring down the barrel of what they have from a schedule standpoint, which is going to get brutal for them? What are you doing with Trey Hendrickson? For nothing. He's going to walk for nothing. I mean, there's a lot of this, and it's false hope that things can get fixed. And I think if you just move this thing back a couple of weeks, it would be more beneficial for the teams. I think fans would get a bigger kick out of it because I think you'd see a lot more activity. Like all these NFL insiders they're all jacked up because there were a bunch of trades made today. The New York Jets made massive trades. We had one franchise.
And Dallas.
Yeah, and Dallas. You had one franchise
taking and selling.
And
then I guess the Colts.
And the Colts.
Yep.
So you had really 3 teams that went for it. Indy went for it with Sauce Gardner.
Yep.
2 ones going back. That's going for it. That's also saying we like our quarterback. We're good with Danny Jones. We're good. He's our guy.
Oh, and he's going to be, you better believe, I would imagine when you make a move like this and you're mortgaging ones that they believe they have an extension worked out for Danny Dimes already. Because if not, if I was his agent, I would say, well, you're not in the quarterback market anymore. So the price just went up a little bit.
Yes. So they believe they have their guy. They need now all of a sudden you get a blue chip corner. And so for them, their picks, they believe their picks are going to be in the mid to late 20s. And we'll see how this all works out. We'll see if New York can duplicate the drafting of Sauce Gardner, who just turned 25.
Yep.
With those 2 first-round picks, because that's what you're trying to do. He's not 29. He just turned – his birthday's in August.
Yeah.
He just turned 25, okay?
Yeah.
So that's what they did. Same thing with Quinnen Williams. That's 2 years older, but still in the peak of his powers.
Yep.
And you jettisoned him. So you have now 5 picks in 2 drafts. Can you draft players that good? And they drafted really well, especially at the top. You went over this earlier. They drafted a bunch of all-pros, a bunch of Pro Bowlers, a bunch of dudes. They still have Breece Hall. They still have Garrett Wilson. Mr. Zagura, which side of the ball did they trade?
Defense.
What side of the ball did they not trade?
Offense.
Yeah.
In fact, they said none of their guys
We're not trading Breece Hall. We're not trading
None of them are even up for discussion.
Garrett Wilson.
Nope.
We're not doing it.
Not movable.
Miami Dolphins. Are we trading Jalen Waddle? Nope.
Nope.
We're not. We got him under contract. We did an extension. New Orleans Saints. You want to trade Chris Olave?
Nope.
We're
We'll
not.
give you get Rashid Shaheed.
You can have him.
But yeah.
But whoever's going to play quarterback here for the next couple of years, we need someone to throw to.
Yep.
We're not going to be in the situation that Tennessee's in with Cam Ward. We're going to have weapons.
Yep.
So the league will tell you the real truth, kids. And it's telling you the real truth here today.
That's where the league's at right now. You better believe it. That is absolutely where this league is right now. Period. Full stop. Full stop. That's where the league is right now.
All right, coming up next, we'll go over some of the biggest winners and losers, some overreactions, a little fact and fiction as we turn our attention to the second half. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case for you. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns on NFL trade deadline day. Gibby, you want to administer? Biggest winners?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right.
Good to hear you for your voice, by the way. It's good to see you, Gibby.
It's great to see you guys.
Yeah, we're hanging in.
Let's do this.
Do what we can do.
Biggest winner at the trade deadline is, it could be a team, could be a player. What say you?
It feels like the Jets, just because we value the unknown, and they have all the hope that 5 first-round picks net you. Now, they gave up 2 really good defensive players, but as is being made abundantly clear, it's a league about offense. Now, you can't ignore defense.
No.
Because then you end up like Dallas, where you're trying to address it, even though they have an excellent offense right now.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, teams that can score have more hope. And I think, the big winner was those people who believe that this is an offensive league. The league did not give up any of its valuable offensive assets, whereas defensive assets were traded.
I think if I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, I feel pretty damn good today. I feel pretty good. I got an offense. I got a guy who's probably the front runner for Offensive Player of the Year in Jonathan Taylor. I stumbled into Daniel Jones.
I know.
He's playing great.
I feel better if I wasn't coming off of a 6 giveaway game.
I agree, but that's been the outlier to this point for them. They've been really sound up and really dominant, honestly. Yep. And now you add arguably the best corner in the league, and he's just turned 25. And so that is we believe we are better than Houston. We believe we're better than Jacksonville. And now we believe we can punch with the best teams in the AFC. Whether that's false hope or not, I don't know. But at the very least, I mean, you think about the passing of Jim Irsay, Dotter's running the operation now, and this has been a magical season for them, and they went all in. And I think that's really cool to do that while you have these guys all in their prime, Jonathan Taylor in his prime, Daniel Jones in his prime. Now you add Sauce Gardner in his prime. They got weapons on the outside. They just drafted Tyler Warren. Like, they got a lot of things to like in Indy. So I think they win pretty big at this. I think the other one that's kind of a sleeper win is Seattle.
Yeah, I like that's just a minor. What did they give up
for him? It was a next to nothing.
A 5th and a 6th per the G-Man.
Yeah, I like a
5's
fine, but like if you watch them on Sunday night and you look at the weaponry that they have, that rookie had 2 big plays down the field. Now all of a sudden you got another deep threat. Jackson Smith and Jigma, they put him in the backfield, they put him on the outside, they put him anywhere. You loved Arroyo in the draft, and
loved him.
He looked great.
Yeah, and AJ Barner, the local kid.
Yeah, they got a lot. And that's a minor piece, but I think take the top off the guy with that offense is a problem.
It's a minor piece. The 49ers didn't make a move.
Yep.
The Rams didn't make a move.
Good point, Gibby.
They're making moves. The team at the trade deadline that should have made a deal but didn't and will regret it is blank.
Bengals with Trey Hendrickson.
It's from Peter Schrager 20 seconds ago. Trey Henderson remains in Cincinnati for the remainder of the season. He won't be the Von Miller 2.0, the Rams midseason add-on that many anticipated he would be after all. I think it is stupefying that they did not trade him. Stupefying. When you lost those 2 games to Chicago this weekend and to the Jets the week before at home, and Flacco played as brilliantly as he did, that was the moment when you have to say, now, I don't know why they didn't. I don't know if they worried about losing, Jamar and T and Joe any more than they already have by how the season's gone. But Burrow can't play better than Flacco's played the last 2 weeks. So even if he were there, it's not going to result in wins.
Better.
Yep. No, they scored 42 and 38. Like, good Lord. Like, what more do you want offensively? So the idea that you didn't get assets is pretty crazy. I'm surprised we didn't make a deal. I thought we would. I really thought we would.
I thought that we would part with something that was going to be noteworthy in terms and pick up an asset for the future that would have been noteworthy.
Yeah, and there just honestly, guys, it's just the real truth on it. There just wasn't much out there offensively. I think that's the number one takeaway from this whole thing is there wasn't anybody available offensive weapons, offensive line of consequence was not made available. Or maybe the asking price was too much. I don't know. But they were not acquirable.
Yep.
Next up, thing or overreaction, the Colts are Super Bowl contenders with today's trade.
I mean, I think they were before, and I think that this enhances that. I mean, they added a quality player. Now, they sacrificed a lot. As I said earlier, I expect to see Danny Dimes be signed to an extension, and he will be their quarterback going forward. Because when you give up 2 ones, you're saying we believe we have the quarterback situation in a pretty good spot. So that's what yes, they are. I believe that they are.
Yeah, it's this makes them exponentially better. They were really good already. Now you have a true shutdown corner.
Yep.
You think about the teams you're going to have to play in the AFC. I mean, he's a playmaker too. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
And now you got to and here's the other thing, a player like Sauce Gardner at this age. I mean, can you imagine like if Deion Sanders were traded at that age and now he went from the Falcons to the Niners, but wasn't he a free agent?
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, the idea that somebody at that age became available is crazy to me. That was the case. But here's the other thing it's going to do in Indy. You imagine the jolt in that meeting tomorrow morning over there when that dude walks in.
Oh, yeah.
You imagine that first practice?
Yeah.
He's got a presence.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner is a presence. Now all of a sudden I got him with me?
And the Cowboys are going to feel like that on their defensive side
Absolutely.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's humanalytics involved here too when you're adding big-time players.
They might just have the Eberflus curse right now on them.
That might be. I mean, that's a crazy coaching staff.
It is
Brian Schottensteiber.
so bizarre.
Yeah. Fact or
Crazy
fiction,
coaching staff.
the Cowboys will make the playoffs after their moves today.
No. I like them. I found this to be an inexplicable gut punch type of a loss. I was stunned by it.
I'm going to give you the schedule. All right, this is the schedule.
Well, I need the standings right now. Hold on. So
they're
in the
3-5-1. There are 10 NFC teams at 500 or better. 10 of them, and they're obviously a game and a half under.
Yep.
All right, so here you go. They are at Raiders this week.
Win.
That's a win, dog. You got the pen?
Yep.
Eagles at home. They can win that. I mean, Eagles are better than them, but it's at home. It's a division game.
We'll call it a loss.
Okay. Chiefs at home.
Loss.
At Leos.
Loss.
Vikings at home.
Win.
Chargers at home.
All right, I'll say
they're not winning them both. They're not winning both. They'll split those two.
Let's say they split that one though, and the Eagles one that they could have won. They'll split the Chargers and the Eagles.
They have got to go 2-1 against the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Chargers. All of those games at home, they got to win 2 out of those 3.
Yeah, right now we have at 3-3, which still doesn't. Right
That's
now
not doing
you're
it.
at 6-8-1.
Now it gets better here, but I still think you're 8-1.
Okay.
So it's at Commies, at Giants.
Yeah, that feels like best case scenario. I don't think that gets them in the playoffs.
That's 8-1, and you're out. So that ain't it.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think so. I actually think that this was one of those instances where I think this is Jerry's ego.
I think some of these moves though were made for let's get going this year, get everybody together on the same page, and then carry it because they're going to have Quinnen next year. I think they think
they will.
Next year they're going to be. I bet they sign Pickens. Pickens and CD, Javante.
Yeah, Dak. They still. They didn't trade the 26 first that they got from Green Bay, did they? They traded a 27 first.
Yep.
So they'll still have 2 first-round picks next year to go with Dak. So now you can draft Arvell Reese.
They could let Pickens go.
You could draft Arvell Reese,
right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Draft him and pop him in there, and then now you're on to something. So, yeah, no, but they're not. They are not a playoff team. If you just look at this and you think about the Colts to me at 7-2. I mean that is a tone setter to do what they did, and I think if you think about how brutal this is going to be, there are, as I've said before, there are 8 AFC teams at 500 or better. 8 of them. Kansas City's the 8th at 5-4. I believe the Baltimore Ravens are going to make the playoffs. They are 3-5. That means if we believe Kansas City and Baltimore are going to make it, 2 of this group, Chargers, Broncos, Colts, Jaguars, Steelers, Bills, New England aren't.
Steelers, Jaguars.
Chargers got a lot of injury too, though. They got a lot of injury.
Chargers have a lot of issues on that offensive line.
Let's look at Pittsburgh's schedule here. So Pittsburgh is at the Chargers this week.
I'm going to call that a loss.
Fair. Bengals at home.
Win.
At Bears.
Loss.
Bills at home.
Loss.
At Ravens.
Loss.
Dolphins at home.
Win.
At Lions.
Loss.
At Browns. Us.
Loss.
Gesundheit.
Ravens at home. They're not losing all those.
No, I think their best case scenario is 4-5.
So that gets them at that's 9-8.
Okay, that's 9-8. Okay.
Who was the
You're
other
winning
one we
division
had?
Probably at 9-8.
You had Jacksonville.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Well, let's do the Ravens.
Well, hold on. They're gonna go 11. They're gonna go 10 and they're gonna go 11-6 or 10-7.
They're not going. They're
gonna
not winning 11 games.
Watch.
Hold on, I'll do it.
Watch.
You're gonna see. You're gonna see. Here's Jacksonville, at Houston.
Loss.
Chargers at home.
Loss.
At Cardinals.
They'll win one of the Chargers-Cardinals games.
Okay. At Titans. That's
Win.
a dub. Colts at home.
Loss.
Jets at home.
Win.
At Broncos.
Loss.
At Colts.
Loss.
Titans at home.
4-5.
4-5 gets them to 9-8.
9-8.
All right. Now here's the problem. Here's your Baltimore conundrum, and it's a big one. Vikings at Vikings.
Win.
At us.
Win.
Jets.
I'd like us to beat them, but we're just doing this for the purposes of this.
All right.
It's
Why don't we say this? They'll go 2-1 in those three.
Perfect.
There you go.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait. Where are we at?
Yeah. Jets, we did.
Win,
Bengals,
win.
home. Steelers, home.
Win.
At Bengals.
Win.
Patriots
Win.
at home.
I think they'll split the Patriots-Packers games.
At Packers, at Steelers.
So that's 7-2.
That's 10-7, brother.
Yep.
Okay, 10, yes. They're not winning 11 games.
That's only one different, though.
That's fine.
But
They're
it's not
winning 11.
outlandish.
Not outlandish.
They'll be favored in every single game they play the rest of the way.
I still want to see defensively how they shore things up.
I don't know if it, I mean they're
going to be able to score as long
they
as
gave
Lamar
up
can stay on
16
the
to
football
the
field.
Bears. They only gave up 17 to the Rams when they weren't even trying.
Yeah.
They had a Draymond Jones. I mean, I don't know. I think they're there. I tell you, the one to do this with that would be interesting is at 5-4, Kansas City, because I think they have a tougher schedule left than I remember, than we are giving them credit for it. So they're at Broncos, they're bye week this week, then they're at Broncos, then Colts at home, at Cowboys, Texans at home, Chargers at home. That's not too bad. At Titans, Broncos at home, Raiders at Raiders. They're getting in. So Kansas City and I think Baltimore are both getting in.
Yep.
That's the reality of that.
All right.
There you go. You want to do a little college football next?
Let's do that.
We'll do that next. We'll take a little break. Do a little college football next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Pretty big day. You got NFL trade deadline. You've got election day today, and then you have the college football playoff rankings. The first ones will come out tonight at 8 o'clock. Gibbe, you have an assignment?
I do. The first rankings, as you mentioned, come out. You have a little bracket in front of you.
Yep.
What's our guesses?
Two things I'll say as I'm filling this in. A couple of things to remember with the College Football Playoff Committee. Number one, they don't have a poll mentality. So we learned this years ago, but the poll mentality used to be that if you win, you stay where you're at, you don't get jumped. They do whatever they want. So they can move it at any time. They will move things around. One thing I'm very curious about is last year, Ward Manuel, the athletic director at Michigan, really put his foot in his mouth a couple of weeks before the conference championship games, and he said, we are not going to punish teams for losing conference championship games. And that's how, and I love them, they're my beloved ponies, but that's how SMU got in, because they played for the ACC title. They lost to Clemson, who had a couple losses already, and they put them both in. So I'm curious. I think they'll be much more close to the vest on their comments leading up to the one that really matters at the end after championship Saturday.
Who has to be in?
You have to have one team from the 4 power conferences, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and SEC. You need to have one group of 5.
And do they get the buys still? The
buys,
not anymore.
No, you can rank them however that you want.
All right, so
they switch that. So they switched that part of it. The other metric they added, and this was at the behest of the SEC, was a strength of schedule component. Now, the problem here is this isn't the BCS when you would have like a computer strength of schedule. This is a completely subjective process made up of athletic directors of major college universities. If you're saying to yourself, well, Bo, that doesn't make much sense. Those guys can't watch much football. They can't even watch their own games. You'd be right. So they can't.
Who in the Power 4? So right now we would have just Buckeyes,
Big 10,
Texas A&M.
Big 10, SEC, ACC, Big 12. So the top 4 from that would be Ohio, as it stands in the AP, would be Ohio State, Texas A&M, BYU's in the Big 12 now. And then the ACC representative would be Virginia.
Okay.
Virginia, yeah. That's how that would go.
So while you guys are doing this, just a note of news that did come in this morning.
Mm-hmm.
The first round of the 12-team college football playoff will start at 8 p.m. on Friday night, December 19th on ABC and ESPN. They will then have a triple header on Saturday, December 20th that starts at noon. College football playoff, ESPN, and TNT announced on Tuesday. December 20th, ABC and ESPN will broadcast the first game of Saturday's triple header at noon. TNT will present the games at 3:30 and 7:30, respectively. All games on ESPN networks will be available on the ESPN app, while the first-round games airing on TNT and True TV will also be streamed on HBO Max. One slight issue for these college football first-round playoff games. Saturday, December 20th, the NCAA has decided to go up against the National Football League. Packers, Bears, Eagles, Commies.
It is incomprehensible to me that the NFL and major college football haven't gotten in a room and got this sorted out. It is insanity that you would go head-to-head with that. You know what else is insanity? ESPN owns the rights to the college football playoff. They have to sell the rights to Turner. So Turner's going to broadcast those games that you're talking about.
Yep.
Because ESPN is contractually obligated not to play NFL on that Sunday, but rather to show college basketball games. That's how unorganized and haphazardly this was all put together by the powers that be in college athletics, of which it's basically the Big Ten and SEC commissioners, Tony Petitti, Greg Sankey, who are driving everything. But they don't see eye to eye. The Big Ten wants a 28-team playoff. The SEC wants 12 or 16 at best. So it is a mess, and it's going to get worse. They're going to do the national championship game the next few years in like late January. This it's like January 19th on a Monday. It's going to be late January. It is broken beyond repair.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
So I think tonight, you're going to see chalk. I don't think there's going to be any big surprises tonight on the first one. I think it'll be pretty chalky to the AP poll. I would be really surprised if Ohio State's not number one. I mean, they have massive leads in the AP and coaches poll. They're the best team. They're the most talented team. They have the highest ceiling. I know that there's some people thinking Indiana will be 1. Okay, fine. You're going to play them at some point. You'll disprove it. But I think the Buckeyes will be number 1 tonight.
I got the Buckeyes. Are you doing it in your bracket?
Yeah, you want to do it that way?
Yeah, I'll do it that way.
Yep.
All right, I have the 1 seed. I have the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yep.
At number 2.
Number 2, I have currently the top-ranked team in the SEC, Texas A&M.
I think you could go there. I think that's a savvy call out of you. I think they could do that. I think that's possible, but I think for bracketing standpoint, I would have Indiana 2. I think Indiana still has the best win. They went 2 Oregon and 1. I think Indiana should be 2.
You're not going to like my number 3. We're going blue blood here. We're going to have Alabama at
That's
number
fine.
3.
They played a daunting schedule. They played a bunch of ranked teams. They do have the 1 loss to Florida State, which is an inexplicable loss, but they do have it. I have A&M at 3.
All right, and I have Indiana at 4.
Okay, so what I did there is I thought from a TV perspective, split up the Big Tens and the SECs. So if you give Indiana as a 2 or a 3, then you get a Big Ten SEC if it goes chalk, and you have Big Ten SEC on the top. So if Indiana's the 4, Ohio State, Indiana would play in the quarterfinal, and you don't want that because you just had it in the Big Ten championship game. This is how these animals think.
I like that. So I'll move Alabama and Indiana. I just thought they would think that. So basically, we have it in the same area, just a little bit different. Bama. I was thinking that they would want. I think actually with that logic, they might put Alabama away from Ohio State. They could go Alabama 2. I could see them go Alabama. You could do Indiana 2, then Alabama 3, and A&M 4. Is that what you had?
I had A&M 3 because as it stands right now, A&M's undefeated.
Yeah,
this is all going to sort itself out.
That's why I have them as 2.
This is all going to sort itself
All
out.
right, I'll move
It'll
Indiana
all
to
sort
3.
itself out.
I just think that they're acknowledging Indiana's good. They're still giving them a bye, but they're
Yeah.
saying like you're the least marquee of the buys.
Fair. Yeah.
All
and
right.
that would be true.
On to number 5. And this is now the first round game.
All right, so my
This
first round
feeds
game
into
here.
Alabama. For folks out there listening, if you can think of it like a bracket in
That's
your head,
how I have it now.
The 5-12 feeds into the 4.
Yep, so I've got Georgia, Virginia.
So I got Georgia, Memphis as the 5-12. Memphis, the group of 5 that has to get in. Got to have one of
so
them.
I do not have anybody in from
You have to have
Is
somebody.
it Notre Dame?
Is it Notre Dame?
No. Notre Dame's with the other group. Notre Dame's a group of 4. They're a power 4. They don't count as a group of 5.
so I'm going to have to kick somebody out.
Notre Dame has their own set of rules.
Clearly.
You see, they have golden domes.
Oh, I know.
It's
2 minutes.
So I've got okay. So then I'm going to have to. So the team that I had in that I wouldn't have had in. So I'm going to
Your
go.
12 needs to go out. So is that?
But that's Virginia, who I need,
okay,
and
so
my
then they
11 is
gotta go-
BYU, who I need.
Okay, so who's your 10?
I had them put Texas in because I figured for TV they would want Texas in this tournament.
Watch for that. I'd be very curious to see what they do with them.
So then I'll have to put. So Memphis has to go to 12.
So Memphis will go.
So I got Memphis, Georgia.
5-12. I got Memphis, Georgia. So then
My 11 will then be
if you want to go that way. So then let's just go top to bottom.
Okay.
Though. So 5-12,
Memphis, Georgia.
Memphis feeds into Alabama, the 4. The 8-9.
I had Oklahoma, Notre Dame.
Okay, I got BYU, Texas Tech right now. I think that's how it'll look tonight. That's not necessarily how I would have it, but I think that's how it'll look tonight is be Texas Tech and Oklahoma. By the way, or Texas Tech and BYU, watch those two teams. Those two teams have massive money to spend. BYU spent like $5 million for the kid who plays basketball.
They're like Indiana and Vandy right now.
And Texas Tech
We're
is
now
landman.
running it as a business.
Texas Tech's landman. They got
All right,
infinite
6-11,
oil money.
I got Oregon, UVA.
I got Oregon, UVA as well.
And then 7-10, I have Ole Miss, Notre Dame.
Same.
So I don't have Texas Tech in at all.
But that it's going to work itself out because I don't think
So
Texas.
who did I have in over them? Oklahoma?
You had Oklahoma.
Again,
Texas,
I'm thinking like
you're thinking
blue bloods.
And that's how it could possibly work itself out. We might get there. That's what it looks like. Like Texas Tech plays BYU this weekend. So one of them is going to be out.
30.
But for this weekend, they're still in.
News out of Arizona, Jacoby Brissett will start Sunday against the Seahawks.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's healthy.
He has to. He has to. I mean, like, come on.
Going
it's enough.
forward.
It's enough.
Go.
It says going forward.
All
Nope,
right,
just for Sunday.
15.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.